Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 25 female, have 5 sisters. Of all of us, I'm the only one who remains unmarried and child-free. I decided to focus on my career and establish myself first before having a family. As such, I'm doing better financially than all of them. My sisters were never on board with me studying further. I did my postgraduate course a few months after my first college graduation. They actually used to manipulate me into being a free nanny for their kids while I was studying, singing about the importance of family and saying how they would do the same for me when my time came. I was moving to and from all 5 households so much that I barely had time to study and almost failed my finals. Anyway, I finally decided to focus on myself, and I've made huge leaps in my career. So I recently bought myself a nice house. A few weeks after my purchase, my sisters started suggesting a housewarming party. I didn't see the point of having any, so I turned it down. Then they kept making up ideas to come over, a big sleepover for their kids, a game night and more. I said no to all of them. Then, a few days back, my eldest sister, 33 female, called suggesting a family get-together. Then, she had the audacity to say that I should host the family. I shut that down immediately. I told her I wouldn't be attending that family gathering. They usually make me the designated nanny and housemaid because I apparently have no other duties. The day of, I was busy resting at home and enjoying my space when I got a call from my baby sister, 21. She said she was coming over with the family because she also wanted to sit out the family get-together. I agreed. She came over. Then another sister called and came over. Slowly by slowly, they all came over. I didn't even have the interest to ask about their failed family get-together, but it didn't skip my mind that they all had gathered, with their families, at my place. Their children were screaming and making a mess, their husbands had taken over the TV, and my sisters were sitting back and leaving me to handle everything. A little while after they had all gathered, they suggested that I get all of them food like a proper host. I had not budgeted to cater to over 18 people in my home, so I said no. If they were feeling hungry, they could all go to their homes. Then their kids started crying and wailing for food. The adults started putting pressure on me to buy stuff. They claimed that I had all the money to do it. I stood my ground and then asked them all to get out. An argument broke out. My sister said that I was selfish and looked down on them because I had more money. I argued back that I didn't have to cater to their demands when they refused to respect my boundaries. After a few choice words, they stormed out with their families. Am I the a-hole? I didn't even want to have a get-together. Update. 2 days after they came over, I sent all of them a voice note setting down my boundaries. I told them that if we were meeting, we would do it outside my house at a public place where they would be forced to act right. I also told them that they should stop referencing my income. It made them look jealous and petty. I added a few things that had been rubbing me the wrong way and let them know if they didn't respect these rules, then we were grown enough to go our separate ways. It's been a week now and I have yet to hear from them. Whatever they decide is fine by me. They are either in my life and respectful or out of it. I'm just glad I got that off my chest. You're not the a-hole, OP. You made it very clear from the start that you did not want to host a get-together at your house. But your sisters decided to do it anyways, because apparently, your objection to the whole idea doesn't matter. But your thoughts matter since you own the house, not them. What you did was the right thing to do. You've offered them an olive branch by letting them know some rules and your boundaries. It's up to them whether or not they want to accept these boundaries so they can be a part of your life. Story 2. My fiancé, 28 female and Dai 30 male, are in an interracial marriage. We're both different types of Asians. She comes from a family that follows some of the customs and traditions while I don't. We are both, however, pretty far removed from our cultures. We're getting married next year and we've decided to go for a culturally neutral wedding. That is, we won't be following our ethnic customs and have it in a church. Friends of the same race as my fiancé have been telling me that I need to give her parents gold and thousands of dollars before I marry her. This tradition only applies to brides. This is a custom to thank them for raising her. I, of course, don't want to have to spend all that money and would rather put it towards building our family and future together. My fiancée agrees with me, but she has mentioned that her parents will not be too agreeable to that. The thing is, in my culture, it's the bride's family that has to give the dowry. Would I be the a-hole if I told my future in-laws that I can follow their traditions as long as they follow mine? I feel like I would be the a-hole because I really don't care about the customs of my culture. And I'm only doing this so that either they stop demanding the money or my fiancé and I wouldn't make a financial loss. Money given to her parents would stay with them. The dowry would be mine and my fiancé's to use. Edit. Neither my fiancé or myself are from India. Not the a-hole OP. Your in-laws can follow every tradition they like when it's their wedding. This marriage is for the two of you, and there is no way they can insist on you giving them a whole load of money for fulfilling their obligations as parents. That said, make sure you and your fiancé have discussed things fully and prepared to stand your ground together in an agreed position. Follow her lead in how to deal with her parents, but make sure you both stand firm on what you have agreed. Good luck. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole, but it would probably be better if you and your fiancé just completely forego the dowry, bridal practice together. Asking for a dowry would probably just lead to more arguments and tension with a family. Better to have both of you insist on a culturally neutral wedding and nip this in the bud early on. Everyone sucks here. Either you or your fiancé needs to have an adult conversation with her parents about there being no dowry, rather than pulling this petty move. Besides just wanting to start off the marriage on the right foot, you and your fiancé need to learn how to explicitly draw the line when it comes to which cultural traditions you will and will not respect. Because I'm assuming the dowry isn't going to be the only thing they insist on. Not the a-hole. You, with your parents' blessing, are just letting your family know that you won't be participating with their custom in an entertaining way. Although I would follow up with an explanation to her parents that neither of you wish to participate in such an antiquated custom overall, as is the concept of dowries in general, to prevent any bad blood from arising over this. Story 3. I work the front desk at a small hotel. I have 3 co-workers including my boss, and we all work a designated shift. My boss works the first shift every day. I work the second shift 6 days a week. And then my other co-workers, M and C, share the third shift. M working 4 days a week and C working 3 days a week. Since I am on the second shift, I deal with the most work throughout the day. Checking people in, fixing things in their rooms, cleaning the lobby, answering the phone. We aren't a very busy hotel, and I do have a bit of downtime here and there. Second shift has also always done the dishes. The hotel has breakfast in the morning, so we have dishes when it's over. It's not a gigantic pile, but it's a decent amount of dishes that usually takes about half an hour of constant tackling to get through. The kitchen is in the back of the hotel, where I cannot see or hear anything at the front desk. I have to stop washing dishes every minute or two to make sure I'm not missing anybody trying to check in, which makes the process take quite a bit longer. Not to mention the fact that when breakfast is over, nobody soaks the dishes or rinses them or anything. And it makes them very nasty by the time I get to them at 8 or 9 p.m. M and C working third shift don't have very much to do when they're here. Nobody really calls or comes in after about midnight, unless it's really busy. So essentially, their entire shift is just sitting at the desk. They usually don't have any issues with in-house guests since they're asleep, so they generally have more free time to work than I do. C does the dishes when she works. When she first started, I asked her if she wouldn't mind, since she works on the weekends. And I'm usually quite a bit busier on the weekends. She has no problem with it. M, on the other hand, hates doing the dishes and refuses to do it. I will say, I have forgotten to do them quite a few times. From being interrupted during, or just being too busy and forgetting to even go back to the kitchen. And every time I forget, I usually get an angry text message saying something along the lines of, I was sitting at the desk all night with nothing to do, and then when I went back to start breakfast, the dishes weren't done. Second shift has always done the dishes with no issue. I don't understand what the problem is. I find it hard to get the dishes done when I have to be basically tied to the desk during my shift. I also work more hours and more days a week, and I'm busier when I'm at work than M is. Would I be an a-hole to suggest third shift exclusively does the dishes? She has more free time during her shift and less chance that she'll be interrupted. but she's worked here a few years longer than I have, so she doesn't want to do them at all, and hates that she even has to cook breakfast in the first place. I just think it would be easier all around if it was the third shift's responsibility. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole for this suggestion. Your work sounds like you're needed at the front desk consistently, with much less downtime. But it's pretty gross that the dishes aren't being left out that long in the first place. Well, sounds like we found the a-hole and it's not you. It sounds very inconvenient to ask you to leave the front desk to go wash the dishes when there's someone else that's more suitable for the job. Tell your boss or manager about it. I don't think you would be an a-hole, especially with M's attitude towards you. Though if you go through with telling your boss about this, you should probably do it tactfully. You want to hand off responsibility, but be careful not to sound like you're doing it out of spite. It's clear too that your job keeps you busy, so I don't think it would be a problem to even suggest it.